Hey, I hope you enjoyed this part 2 of my talk with the University of Westminster journalism student. We talked about the need to engage audiences in dialogue, in other words, multi-directional communications, and not just disseminate information. Take a look.
There are 4 models of communication, and one of them is public information model, which is self-explanatory. The model is disseminating information with persuasive intent. And the 4th one is two symmetrical way of communication. And the main distinction between that model and the rest of them is that this model, the main purpose of the model is to achieve dialogue between the company and the stakeholders, and the company is willing to adjust and alter its communication strategy rather than just publishing information. So my point is that Volkswagen adopted the wrong approach. I believe that they adopted a public information approach. They were not willing to engage in a conversation, and it backfired on them. Do you agree, or do you have a different opinion on it?
You have to at some point engage in dialogue. Now, let me place a proviso on that. That doesn't mean you need to engage all audiences in dialogue. I'll give you an example. I had worked on, and it's not with Volkswagen, in the outset of COVID, on the pandemic, I was working with about 55 skilled nursing facilities, the nursing homes here, as they were keeping family members and news organizations and government entities and staff informed as to how many people were sick, what they were doing about that, how many people were going to the hospital, how many people unfortunately passed away, and all of those entities. We placed an emphasis on making sure that the employees were kept informed who had questions. They were the ones who were going in every day into work.
Yeah.
Without, with all the personal protective gear, but not, really not sure if they weren't going to be affected and get sick in the early stages on that. They were the top priority, and they were engaged in dialogue. They were open. We made sure that the administrators kept an open conversation on that, as we did for the family members, because in the way in which it worked in the States, family members could not go into the facilities to see their loved ones during most of the pandemic. And for all of these resident patients who were in the facilities, that isolation from family members was very, very tough. Where we stayed on the public information front was with the news organizations. And we did so for a couple of reasons. The first is there wasn't enough resources and manpower, as we call it, to engage media in dialogue. We gave the information, made sure they were up to date. Anytime they had a request, we responded in an hour. But they wanted more free flow of exchange. They wanted to do interviews, and we did not permit those. And the reason we didn't permit those was largely because we just didn't have the time. So I would say to you, getting back to the point is, wherever possible, you want to engage in that dialogue and reduce public information. And if you can't do it for all of them, you need to do it for at least those big priority staffs, employees, customers, and your business partners.